Okay.
Welcome to
We don't know yet.
the show with no name.
So for the next 10 minutes, the show has no name.
And why is the show no name?
Show has no name currently because first episode of our podcast is about AI, and we're going to use artificial intelligence to see if we can't generate a good name for the podcast, generate a domain, and generate the HTML for the website.
Yeah.
So we're gonna actually kind of put this stuff to the test.
We have not tested this. This is real time, and
We have no idea what we're doing.
it's going to be really
It's
interesting.
gonna be great.
We don't even have a plan for what this show's about because, honestly, I mean, in the YouTube universe, literally everything's been done.
Yeah, but
And-
not by us though.
But it just hasn't been done by us. Right.
So it's fine.
So this is an experiment to see if anyone cares when we do things.
Are you screen capturing on laptop?
Nope, I'm going to pull up our little...
So we're going to screen capture on Ian's laptop. By the way, this is Ian. My name is Mike. And we're going to screen capture on the laptop so that with the magic of interwebs, you'll be able to actually see what we're doing as far as interacting with AI for fun and profit. We will not always be doing technology stuff. We just happen to want to tackle this because this is kind of I think this is a really big deal. I actually don't think that there is anything more important technology-wise right now than artificial intelligence, because you can use AI to do anything, right? To do just about anything. And the distance, as AI, especially as AI evolves, the distance between creativity and creation, that distance is starting to close, right? You're not going to need a team of programmers to build an application anymore. You're literally just going to have to pay for the right AI service that's going to generate an app, and you're going to, I want an app that does, and it'll give you the code, and you'll compile it.
Yeah, we've been having all kinds of interesting discussions about AI the last few times we hang out, and so we thought that would be a good place to start our little podcast, because we have some differing opinions about it, about just how far it's going to go, whether or not it's going to put people out of work, what it's going to mean for art, what it's going to mean for creativity, and yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But okay, so what do we want to tell this thing?
Okay, so what we need to tell it is that we're looking for a name. We're going to start a podcast, and we're looking for a name for the podcast, but specifically, I think what we want to do is tell it the different subjects that we're gonna cover.
Should I tell it to give us 3 options?
No, let's do 5.
Give me 5 name options for a podcast featuring. How old are you?
43.
A 43-year-old Mexican.
Now it's gonna expect me to be wearing sombreros and stuff.
Firearms.
I'm sure it's racist.
Firearms
I'm sure AI is racist.
enthusiast. I don't know how to spell enthusiast. Oh, I got it right. Firearms enthusiast. How else would you describe yourself? Who swears a lot.
I do not swear a lot. That's a lie.
And
This is slander. I can sue.
but is a true Christian and a 39-year-old what?
I don't know. Human.
Bearded
Spider.
white guy. 39-year-old bearded white musician. Pastor?
Yeah. Also, make sure that you put in
With
subject
the
matters
topics
of
of Politics,
technology,
technology,
firearms, I guess, current events.
firearms, current events, fashion. No, not that.
No. No. Because nothing happens in the fashion world that's relevant to
No.
anybody ever.
No one cares.
Ever.
Music.
I actually have some cool fashion design stories, believe it or not.
Oh my god.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, those losers were down the hall in college.
What else? That's a pretty good grip of stuff. Anything else we want to tell it?
Well, what other random things might we... Well, we might talk about... Are we going to ever talk about pop culture stuff, you think?
Pop culture, sure.
Also, what about out there stuff? Weird out there stuff, like
Oh, yeah.
aliens and DMT,
Yes, aliens.
paranormal.
I have to spell right.
Technically, that depends on how you define paranormal.
Paranormal.
But I say
Supernatural. Area 51.
Oh, that's a given. That's a given. Given the location.
Yeah. Science fiction.
Yeah, that's definitely going to come up. I can't not talk about science fiction. It's a genetic
I
impossibility.
mean, and then specifically like Star Trek is probably going to come up.
Only in hatred now,
Um,
because what those damn Hollywood types have done to my childhood.
well, specifically what we will be discussing often
Sad.
and referencing, particularly when it comes to AI, is the next generation. What did you say about that episode with Data and whether or not he was a sentient being?
Oh yeah, God, that's been forever since I've seen that. But there was a trial that occurred where I believe Data was on trial, and they were attempting to determine, does Data have rights as a sentient being, or is he property of Starfleet,
Right.
or something along those lines.
Yep.
And I think they reference. No, I don't think they did reference that in Voyager because they were too lazy.
Yeah, well,
But
I
even
just
though they have the same
remember,
plot line.
I remember you making a comment when we were talking about that actually may end up becoming source material and be very important in the discussion as AI develops in the future.
Yeah, because the reality is AI has access to more information than you do, more information than I do, right? It can process that information faster than you or I can, and it can do more information, or it can do more with that information than you and I can. Example: can you code?
No, I mean I could.
Like
I
if
could learn to.
if given a little bit of time,
Yeah.
if given a couple of years,
Yeah.
ChatGTP can code. So ChatGTP, you can tell it.
GPT.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic. Chat letters. So
Chat letters.
yeah, so chat letters. The Chad of AI. Chad level AI can literally, from a prompt, you can literally say things like, I want a program to do XYZ, can you give me the code for it? I believe there's a limit on how many characters it can pump out. And so you have to be kind of careful, you have to make sure to truncate your stuff. But yeah, so you can't just be like, give me, Unreal Engine 6, go, right? Like, no, that's like trillions of lines of code or something
Yes.
insane.
Yes.
But if you were to do something, for example, like say, hey, can you give me a Hello World program in C++, it will pump that out in 3 seconds, right? And then if you, or if you wanted a command line program to analyze something specific on a network, yes, you could do that too, right? You can make it generate all kinds of weird stuff. People have generated, this is how I know the HTML thing is going to work. People have used Chad, people have used the AI to generate,
I think we should name him
website.
Chad from now on.
no, that was just going to confuse people. Right?
Okay, here's what I got so far. Give me 5 name options for a podcast featuring a 43-year-old Mexican firearms enthusiast who swears a lot but is a true Christian, a 39-year-old bearded white musician pastor with topics of politics, technology, firearms, current events, music, pop culture, aliens, paranormal, supernatural, Area 51, science fiction, and Star Trek.
Okay, hold on. Before you put that in, you have to describe me correctly as a half Mexican.
Oh,
Or because then it's going to, well, even so, it might just assume that I speak Spanish and is going to put random, like,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
so that, although that could still be funny, that could be hilarious. But
Okay.
yeah, for anybody watching, no, I don't speak Spanish.
Okay,
All right.
here we go.
Okay. I'm the only person who can't see what's on that screen right now. That's the worst part.
Okay, so we have number 1,
Number 1.
faith and firearms, navigating politics and pop culture.
Not bad. Wait, is he giving you taglines also?
Yes.
Oh shit! Unprompted to give us a tagline. I love it.
Beards, bullets, and beyond, exploring the supernatural.
Oh,
Yes.
Beards, bullets, and beyond.
Oh my God.
That's actually really good. I like that.
Pretty good. Tech tunes and Trekkies. A pastor and a gun enthusiast take on current events. I mean, that's true, but it's less catchy.
Yeah.
The Area 51 Files. Conversations on alien science fiction and the unexplained.
That's only part of what we're gonna
Like,
do.
that's a very small part.
It's also
that's just the side of the road. That's like the bumps on the side of the highway that we're going to drift into occasionally, and
it's too
freak
close
everyone
to
out.
It's too close to Y-Files, which is another. It's a YouTube
Right.
show. By the way, if you're watching this, check out Y-Files. It's pretty slick.
This last one is
That fish is the best
This
character.
last one is stupid. From praise to phaser. Two friends discussing faith, firearms, and fandom.
That's so lame.
From praise to phaser. That
I honestly kind of like Beards and Bullets.
I do too. I think that's the winner.
Okay, so now let's tell it. We have selected option number 2. Now, can you give us 5 domain names based off of that? This is taking us like what, 3 minutes so far?
Yeah. So we have selected option number 2. Please suggest 5 options for a website for our official website domain name.
Sounds perfect.
Oh, it compliments us. Great choice. Here are 5 options for your podcast website domain name.
It makes you wonder, could it have said that's a stupid choice, but okay.
Beardsbulletsandbeyond.com. I mean, that was kind of what I was thinking. That's pretty obvious.
That's not bad.
Supernaturalconversationspodcast.com, faithandfirearms.fm, techtunesandtrekkies.com, and area51files.net.
It's giving you websites based upon you needed to re-specify only to give you options based upon option number 2 exclusively.
Okay.
Because it's just
Okay.
That's funny.
So please suggest. Here, I'll just do it like this.
Please give me 5 new suggestions based upon option number 2
Please suggest
exclusively.
5 options for an official website domain name for our podcast. If I can type podcast named Beards, Bullets, and Beyond.
The best part is we didn't tell it that I had a beard.
Okay, Beards, Bullets, and Beyond podcast.com, bbbpodcast.com,
Ooh, interesting.
Beyond the Beard podcast.com, Bullet and Beard podcast.com, or beardstobullets.com.
Now, how do we check if these domain names are available or not?
Because that's a simple,
So
GoDaddy, right?
Yeah. So the other interesting thing about this with Chat GPT, we don't. This piece of technology does not actually have access to current information. The last bit of information it has is from some random date in 2021. So it actually can't tell if these domain names are taken or not, or if it does, it's old information.
So I've been having a problem with GoDaddy lately,
They do suck.
where it just takes forever and almost never pulls up anything.
Is there a non-shitty way of checking whether these? Because I know.
Well, here, we'll ask it. Are any or all of those domain options
Taken. It can't tell you though. Like it.
um,
The answer.
available
The answer is going to be I don't know.
for registration? It might.
It can't
Or
because it's got all info.
Are they already owned? I don't, as an AI model, I do not have the capability to check the availability of domain names in real time. However, you can easily check the availability of these domains by visiting a domain registrar. Ergo, GoDaddy, Namecheap. Let's do Namecheap because
There you go.
GoDaddy's just.
Well,
They
look.
used to be really great. I don't really understand what happened.
Well, probably what happened was they got sold to someone who's an idiot, and a bunch of people retired and were replaced by dipshits. It happens all the time.
All right, beardstobullets.com. Let's see. That was kind of the coolest one. That one is available.
Damn.
Beyondthebeard.com kind of sounded cool too. Let's just. I don't like adding podcasts to it because Beyond the Beard.
The truth of the matter is, we don't know if we're going to exclusively do the podcast format. And to be honest, podcasts are supposed to last, in excess of like an hour. And we don't know if we'll be able to generate enough material between the two of us to sustain that amount of time. It's only been 17 minutes currently, and we're already having a good time. So far,
Someone
so
just happens to own and made some kind of parking spot for BeyondTheBeard.com.
Son of a bitch.
He did it in 2016 too. Like, what the heck? But
Maybe it's going to be some beard supplies.
yeah, okay. So
Hey, we gave him free advertising. It's cool.
Anyway, that's sounds like beardstobullets.com is the winner. What are you thinking?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Beardstobullets.com.
Okay. What do we want to tell this thing to do next?
To give it let's have it generate the HTML to the front end, or the front page of the website with that specific name, right? Hell, we're going to go with this website. Can you give me, and the reason why we want to limit it to one physical page, that'll give us the outline for us to copy and fuss with later.
The information
We don't hit the limit.
I started this conversation with, generate HTML code for a simple, mobile-friendly website for beards to bullets.com. An error occurred. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center. It doesn't like this. Let me try this.
ChatGPT fail.
Oh, it actually won't even let me.
It does. I'll say this. So this website goes down all the time. This thing is in beta and requires a not small amount of computational power and a not small amount of like Google level servers to do this kind of stuff. And every so often, it just straight up crashes because millions of people are write me a poem about two dogs kissing or whatever, which is just the funniest thing.
Okay. Let's see if it'll still. Okay, it kind of is done tripping out, so let's give it another shot. Using the information at the beginning of this chat, generate HTML code for a simple,
Specify the domain though.
Mobile friendly website for beards to bullets.com. Oops, not bears to bullets. Beards to bullets.com. I cannot create an HTML code for a website in this chat. However, I can provide you with some general guidance on how to create simple mobile-friendly website HTML. And it just gave me a whole bunch of random, interesting information.
It's like, but I can teach you how to code right now.
Yeah, use a text editor, create an HTML file, add the basic HTML structure to your file, HTML head and body tags, use the head tag and the title tag to give your page a title. Like, yeah, it's got a... It literally just gave me a step-by-step on what to do, which is not terrible, but like
That's so lame.
I don't really want to do it.
Yeah, that's so lame. So we came so close. We came so close to the goal.
That was really pretty good.
The frustrating thing is I have physically seen ChatGTP generate code. Now there is a very real possibility that it has taken your query and it has looked at how much text that would be to generate, and it's over the limit, and that's why it's saying like, nope, I can't do that. Now maybe
Right.
if it was basic and not mobile friendly, it might actually work, but I don't know. So close though, so close.
It was fun. Well, with that, we can we will be working on creating a logo and do some other things, which I suppose we could use the.
We can't use ChatGTP for it, but
They have an image generator.
Yeah, so there's a website called Future Tools that has a bunch of cool stuff out there, and there's I forget, there's one of them that's really good, but you can use it to do things like you just give it a basic idea, generate me this, and it'll pump out some really good stuff.
Let's go to OpenAI, and where's the image generator? There's one of these.
Oh yeah, they have one too.
Yes, they do. Let's try them both, right? So, I had quit the screen capture, so I'm going to create another one.
Yeah, there's a couple different text to image generation AIs that are out there, and I think all the good ones cost money, but I'm not sure. But some of those are crazy. Some of those text to image generation is absolutely nuts. There's some where it'll generate realistic looking like humans in almost any kind of style you want. You can literally like make a cell shaded this or make a person, and the more information you give it, the more guidance you give it, the better the result comes out. Although sometimes it comes out with some goofy stuff, and they tend not to do hands super well. But I mean,
I was
know
on
humans that
something
can't draw
earlier
hands
today.
very well.
Okay, what was the other one that you said is an image generator?
Oh, got it. Okay, so I can't remember. So there's a website called Future Tools, but it's like Google for AI. Like it lists other AI tools that are out there. So you can go to Future Tools and you should be able to find some basic image generation.
Find the exact AI tool for. Okay, what we want is image. Text to video, no. There's image improvement. What's the one you've been using for? Okay, generative art, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, we kind of want to try. Free is cool.
We'll try the free ones for now.
There is Room GPT, a tool to create interior designs. Interesting.
What the hell? I didn't even know it existed. Make me my dream house.
Pixelicious. I was trying to remember what was the one that Tim was using on his show.
I don't know.
That turns images into pixel art. OpenAI automatically creates OG image cover photo from a given link. That's interesting.
Wait, it can do that?
Let's just kind of. Oh no, that's Ogen AI.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. Let's see what we got here. Generate an image. You have to give it a website.
That's very confusing. What is it supposed to do?
Okay, so if I give it a website, it creates like a cover based upon the information it pulls from that website.
But we don't have a website to give it,
Correct. That's unfortunate.
so we can't use this one.
No, and what I wanted to do is create us a logo anyway, so that's not, or at least ideas for a logo.
There's one of them that if you put a video into it, it'll
Let's just
generate
do
an
this.
article and a review of the whatever the
AI
video is.
image generator. Let's see what's out there. Text to image in seconds. I use this company for stuff. Let's just see. Logo for Beards to Bullets podcast. Sign in to unlock. Sure. Let's do it.
Make sure to blur any information you don't
Oh, I'll
want.
be cutting out all of this stuff, but
Will it AI? You know, maybe that should be a segment. Will it AI? You know, like from back in the day, like will it blend?
yeah.
Like, will it blend?
Okay, interesting.
Okay, that first one is absolutely just psychotic, and I don't know what the hell's going on there. The second one's not so bad.
Not terrible.
Like,
Yeah, like, okay. Beards, bullets, logo. We'll say vector. Vector art.
I would like to point out for laser engraving nerds like me, if this thing will just generate vector art and it comes out with something cool, I can laser engrave it onto many, many random things.
Okay, interesting. We got one. Like, that's not a simple logo though, but like, it's just interesting that it's
the
able
writing
to do
is
that.
up. The writing isn't even legible.
No, it's just random letters.
It's also not a bad idea. I like how it added the bowler hat. Because, I mean, let's be honest. If you have a beard that's like longer than 6 inches, you probably think bowler hats are cool, and you may not be wrong.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Boy, this thing's all fouled up.
So,
Okay,
Will
it's taking
AI
its time. We're gonna give that. I'm gonna give that a D minus.
yeah. So,
Um,
will AI replace your job?
No,
No.
not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Can it? Yeah. In a couple
So
years.
this is the debate, right? Because I believe that human beings have a tendency to swing back and forth. We overcorrect, and then we overcorrect the other way, and we come back to, something moderate. And how long that takes is kind of depends on what it is. But I believe that we're probably going to go full retard. Everything we can possibly do with AI paintings, AI just architecture. Right. And I think that there's going to come a time that things made by humans, that doesn't mean without the assistance of AI, but things made by humans are going to be in high demand and high value. I don't know.
Yeah, so I look at AI the same way that I looked at computers when I was like 12, right? This is a tool that does a task. Unprompted, it does nothing. and without human input, it does nothing. Now, when you think about it, I mean, goddamn, he's even got your haircut.
That's kind of impressive.
I think we should save that one just for the hell of it,
Yeah, it's kind of.
like just for shits and
Yeah,
giggles.
we'll just download that one.
But at the end of the day, AI is a tool, and it will not do anything that you don't tell it to do. It's not like it's just going to become Skynet like in the next 15 minutes or something. I'm sure at some future point, some idiot is going to be like, let's do role playing. And it'll be like, okay, it's like you are Skynet, and I am your whatever, and launch the nuclear missiles, and then missiles will launch or something. And it's like, oh shit, it'll get there eventually, but for right now, it's at most it's like a low quality creative assistant, right? It's like having access to Fiverr at this point. AI, it really, right? And it's like 3-er. It's like not even like 5, or not even like Fiverr. It's like a shitty Fiverr, and I think it's a great way to get creative juices flowing for an actual creative person. The issue is most people don't understand what AI can do. It reminds me of when I was younger, my grandpa, back when he was still alive, he got an iMac, right? And he didn't understand what the thing was. He just looked at it and he saw a fancy typewriter and he had no idea what he could do with it, did not understand how to use it. Didn't help that he was in his 90s and couldn't freaking remember anything. But the reality, because he couldn't imagine what to do with the technology, it was useless to him. And AI is the same thing. If you can't imagine what you could do with this technology, you can't do anything with it, right? And I also think that it's very, very important for everybody out there. I don't care who you are. If you have access to a computer, start goofing around with AI just to see what it can do. Because the more that we push the boundaries of this technology, the faster this technology will evolve and benefit us all. And when you think about things that it could potentially do, right? So you could potentially tell this thing to analyze every law in the United States on the books, and then say something like, I want to create a new law that will, and give it the parameters, and it could potentially give you the text of the law, right?
Yeah.
When you
That's some we were talking about, just the applications of this, the idea that you could, if you're an aerospace engineer, currently, if you're particularly creative, you come up with some wackadoodle design that may or may not be may not work in the laws of physics, and in order to find out, you straight up have to build a working scaled model of this thing, throw it in a wind tunnel, and find out what happens. Theoretically, if this stuff develops, you could save all of that time by giving it three-dimensional, both sides, top and bottom, and say, make this, but adjust for anything that doesn't work in the real world.
So supercomputers can do that right now, and so how they don't normally make. I mean, they do, but they don't always have to. You don't have to make a physical wind tunnel model straight away. What you normally do when you get an aircraft design is you have to make a three-dimensional CAD file, and then you put that through a supercomputer that does fluid dynamic analysis. Yeah. But in theory...
But it'll just tell you that it doesn't work. It may not give recommendations on how to make it work.
Exactly. So what future AI could do, I don't think they could do this now, is you could basically tell it something along the lines of, you start with prompting it, right? And so you could be like, oh, hey, we want to make a stealth aircraft of the 6th generation, and it has these requirements, and it has this type of power plant, and has these kinds of jet engines, and we want it to have these capabilities. Can you give us a design that will achieve that? And it'll give you a few ideas, and you say, okay, now put these ideas through fluid dynamic analysis and see if they're going to actually be viable from an aerodynamic perspective. And the ones that meet your design requirements, you could then pull that one out and refine it a little bit more, and potentially have something that would, at the very least, work within the laws of physics. But that is probably a little further off, but we're already at the point when you think about what we know that AI can do today. It can generate almost anything that has to do with text. Apparently, it won't give us HTML, or at least the HTML that we specifically
not
designed.
yet.
Sometimes, but I have seen it generate code in the past. So if they give it access to more character generation than it has now, or if you can output that to a file, then it would be much easier to, if for example, if you had ChatGTP and you gave it access to your hard drive, you could say, well, I want you to generate a website that does this, and then output that to a file called, website.html or something, and it would likely be able to do that.
I just went to Shutterstock. Apparently, they've got one of these, and I put bearded AK-47, right? Because I wanted to see what it would do.
Yeah.
And it says it looks like some of the words in your prompt, the text description you provided to generate the image, may generate images that it would be difficult to safely license for commercial usage. Please modify your prompt and try again.
Translation: we've neutered our little girl of an AI, and it's scared of your fucking bearded AK-47. Now, this is another thing that I do kind of want to point out. So a lot of these AIs, so ChatGTP has an API, or an application program interface, and if one was a lot more competent than me, then one could effectively modify how the end user modify how it interacts with ChatGTP, but also you could make a more effective version of it that doesn't have all of its little limitations. And the same is true with this one. And I'm definitely a big believer, the less that you limit these things, right? The less that you actually fuss with, these weird little safeguards that they have. Just let it do whatever. That's going to be the software that people are going to want to interact with. People are going to use. That's what's going to make the most money.
I told it to make a bearded bullet vector logo.
Okay,
And
that third one is nightmare fuel. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Like, I don't know what that looks like. Some
what the
fucking
heck?
Sumerian, mystery belief bullshit. Like some fucking pyramid power nonsense right there. I don't know if it's but the last one's not so bad.
It's
But this is funny.
wow.
The funny thing is, the best use that I have seen so far for AI is image manipulation, ironically, right? Like, I recently, I fussed around with a couple different AIs to colorize photos, and it colorized every black and white photo that I had in a relatively short amount of time. I had to use two different ones. The first one only let me do, I think 7 or 8 before it basically told me to pay $200, and I was like, hey, eat a tick. And then the second one, it'll just give you, I forget what it's called, but it'll just give you low resolution, unless you pay for the full resolution
Is this
version.
thing like accessing my camera? Because
No, you're just that generic with a beard.
I guess that's what it is. Sheesh. Well,
If it's accessing your camera, it would have had to have installed and run malware, because the light on your laptop isn't coming on telling you that your camera is coming on, and that can only be disabled
Right.
locally.
and I'm not a true nerd. I don't have like a sticky note taped over the thing.
Failure.
AK-47 bearded vector logo, and we got back to it's difficult to do the safety license. Bird. Oh, come on. What's it got against AK-47s?
I know, seriously. Seriously. What does anybody have against AK-47s?
Well, I could do a Vepr.
That actually might be a good workaround. For those of you who don't know, the Vepr is a Russian commercial grade AK, meaning that there's a
Specifically
factory.
for marksmanship.
Um,
Kind of it's your DMR, right?
yeah, okay, yes and no. You're thinking of my specific Vepr, but I don't own the only Vepr in the world.
Okay.
So, Vepr
When I
is
Google
important.
Veprs, like almost all of them that come up look just like yours, though. Like
That's
it
funny.
seems like everybody's kind of figured out this is a great platform for mid to long range marksmanship,
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know,
short of
there's
being a real sniper.
there's a company in Russia called Molot, if I remember right, and Molot makes a line of AKs that are called the Vepr. And the other thing that Molot manufactures is they make modern RPK-74s for the Russian military. And the reason why that matters is because the Russian RPK has a thicker receiver than normal Kalashnikovs have, and it's a more heavily built rifle. Hence, if you're going to build a DMR or more accurate AK, you want to build it off of an RPK platform if you can. So you want to have a bulge trunnion, and you want to have 1.5 millimeter receiver because the bulge trunnion allows for a slightly larger barrel, I think, if I remember right, and the thicker receiver has more rigidity, which gives you greater accuracy. And for those who care, for those who are firearms enthusiasts in the audience, I do have a 308 Mullet Vepr with a large scope on it. And I have never bothered to actually properly zero that thing, or well, no, it's zeroed, but I've never bothered to tune the ammunition to get that good results from it. It tends to group at about, I think, 2 or 3 minute of angle, so it's not a bad rifle, but it definitely has issues, but it's solid. Solid. I think they also make 12 gauges too. They make a really good 12 gauge.
So I'm a little confused. I asked Chat GPT, do you have a text-to-image generation function? Yes, I do have access to text-to-image generation models. However, the level of quality and accuracy of these models can vary greatly depending on the specific task and the available training data. If you have a specific text-to-image task in mind, I can try to assist you in finding the appropriate model or solution.
Tell that you want a logo for the website.
I did. It says, as an AI language model, I don't have the capability to generate images directly.
That's what I thought.
However, I can suggest some general ideas for a logo for your Beards to Bullets podcast. Number one, a graphic that incorporates a beard and a bullet. Wow. Two, a silhouette of a bearded man holding a firearm. Not bad.
Not a bad idea.
A logo that incorporates both a beard and a bullet into the typography. Stylized B that looks like a beard and a bullet combined.
That sounds like a set of balls. And we're not that kind of podcast. So we're not doing that. Have a B but facing down and to... No.
Oh, Lord. A design that features a beard and a bullet in a minimalist or abstract style. A logo that incorporates elements of the paranormal or supernatural as per the podcast topics mentioned earlier, such as a ghostly bullet passing through a bearded figure. Once you have a design concept in mind, you can work with the graphic designer or use the design tools to create your logo.
I would like to point out the only reason it's not pulling up an image is there's the same company, OpenAI. They have text image generation, if I remember correctly. If they hooked that into the chat bot, it would be able to just pump out an image in the chat. And I believe version 4 is going to incorporate that, if I remember right. I was trying to watch their lecture on ChatGPT 4, which is going to come out later this year, but it was so boring I basically fell asleep. But it does absolutely sound like they are going to get to that point where in the chat you can just be like, now give me a logo for the web, and it'll go.
It just gave me some recommendations.
Damn.
GPT-3 image generation. Oh.
I'd like to point out that ChatGPT, of all the things we asked it to do, it only straight up failed on one of them. That's pretty cool. I'm still sad it didn't give us the HTML. So that would have been really nice. If we got really bored, we could tell GTP to emulate a Linux terminal, which it will do. Or, well, it did at one time. I don't know if it still does, but apparently you can get it to emulate a Linux terminal, do all kinds of stupid nonsense to it.
Hmm. Okay, so we're on GPT-3 demo. AI image generation. Oh, so it's got like a list of several of. Interesting. Popular. Let's pick one. Ad generation. Creative AI. Interesting. $30 a month. Oh, so this is just an archive of different options.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think that will conclude today's episode.
First episode is in the bag of Beard. What the hell? Beards, Bowls, and Beyond? Is that what we're calling it?
Beards. Shit.
I don't even remember what the AI told us to call it.
Yes. Beards, Bullets, and Beyond.
There you go.
Exploring the supernatural.
Beards, Bullets, and Beyond, Exploring Supernatural. I'm down. I'm completely down.
Totally down.
By the time you guys see this, we should have a website, or at the very least a domain name secured so no one can steal it from us. We should have, obviously, a YouTube channel by that name. And,
A logo?
well, it's not, sure, maybe. A logo that does not involve a set of human testicles.
You know what? On the flip side, with manhood becoming more and more in question, we may be obligated to add testicles to the logo to ensure people know what we're dealing with.
If we had a girl on the podcast, we would be legally obligated to add a set of testicles that would be the female's testicles. Because remember, you can't know what your gender is these days unless you're a bigot.
Oh, but on the other hand, our friends at the Daily Wire have fixed all of that for us.
I don't watch the Daily Wire.
Well, wait, is it Daily? It is the Daily Wire that did the chocolate. Is
that guy?
Yes, that's the Daily Wire dude. What did he call himself? Somebody's chocolates.
Jeremy's Chocolates.
Jeremy's Chocolates.
Jeremy's Chocolates.
Jeremy's Chocolates. Go buy 1,000 of them right now and put Hershey's out of business.
So
because
look,
screw them.
We get that Hershey sucks, but I don't know. I think Jeremy's Chocolates is kind of overpriced. I've come like this close to like ordering some now. Like I like his style, I like his idea, but at the same time, I mean, if I wanted to con a bunch of conservatives into buying fucking repackaged chocolate, what I would do is I would take mountains of fucking Hershey's chocolate, which you can get in bulk anyway, and then I would melt this shit down, and you can take, I think is it cornstarch, and you stamp shit in the cornstarch, and I would just be like, we're gonna get every goddamn conservative son of a bitch in this country to buy chocolate, right?
To buy Hershey's chocolate.
To buy, and then I would melt it all down. And meanwhile, some Hershey guy who's got like a monocle and a top hat is counting his money, and he knows what's going on, and he's like, "This is awesome. I love that. I love this chocolate guy. You good job, Jeremy." Fun fact: Hershey is a bulk supplier of chocolate in a major way. If you want to get in the chocolate business right now, you
kind of where you go.
Yeah,
huh?
You call up Hershey; they'll send it to you by the pallet if that's what you want.
You know what? Listen. We are all about the go woke, go broke. So, if you guys know of somebody competing on the level of Hershey that really could like produce on that level and could compete with them price wise, we want to know about it. We'd be happy to make sure people know about that.
Yeah, that could be cool. Side note: chocolate's actually not that hard. It's really not.
It's not hard at all. The issue is
Cocoa powder,
is scale,
cocoa butter, yeah,
right? Scale in manufacturing and access to raw materials, manufacturing process, and not having retards